Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the post-race press conference from Arlington 3. Round number 12 for the 450s, round number 5 for the 250 West. Quick announcement for you. Cooper Webb and Ken Roxon will not be on this press conference. They have some obligations after the race that they have to take care of. We're going to try to get a follow-up press conference with just those two, hopefully early in the week. So Eli Tomac is on. Congratulations, Eli, on a podium finish in the 250 class. Justin Cooper, Cameron Mcadoo, Seth Hammaker. Good job, guys. Justin Cooper, I'm going to come to you first. These last three races, obviously in the moment, it's hard to really express the frustrations because you're just trying to stay focused. But now that you got the win, you kind of righted the wrong, you got this little break. Can you just kind of take us through the last three races and the frustrations that you were feeling? Were you questioning things with yourself, the bike? Just it was a little uncharacter for you to be off the podium. And I would like to know like what you were going through for those three now that we're past that. So how was that, dealing with those frustrations?
Yeah, definitely really frustrating. You said it right there. I've righted the wrong tonight, and it feels good to do that. But man, I'd be lying if I wasn't, frustrated at myself how these last three have gone. And it's just that stuff gets thrown at you, and you gotta, take it and do the best you can with it. You can't let it phase you. It sucks, but you gotta push through it and get as many points as you can out of those nights. And it was pretty crazy to have three of those in a row. I just felt like every weekend I was coming from literally dead last. So it was nice to get some clean air tonight. And just, back to your question, it was just really frustrating. I was questioning things, but at the end of the day, it all came back to I'm doing everything right. I just got to, stay out of the carnage. And sometimes that's hard to do. It just got to be really smart, and you got to also, there's a fine line between sending it on the first couple laps and being smart, because those things can happen. And that's how it was just, it was building up on me, and I really needed to get good starts at the end of the day. And that's what we did today. And just really good going into the break to, get back on top and feel like that's where we belong. And that's where we've worked so hard to be. So, just trying to put those 3 rounds behind us, but also, learn as much as we can from those.
Quick follow-up. What was the deal with the starts? I mean, tonight's were really, really good. You're typically a good starter. I mean, was it something with you, with technique, with the bike, mental? I mean, it was uncharacteristic.
Yeah, so basically we didn't get too much testing going into the season. I had about 3 or 4 days on Supercross, and obviously didn't do many starts. I just had a couple days I was focused on getting the riding and the fitness in. So as far as that goes, came in pretty underprepared. Got a good starts in round 1 and made a couple changes. And I was playing around with like some stuff on the starts, and it wasn't working. So we went back to what we know. And the starts, even the last race on Tuesday, were good. Just had that first lap incident with Chris Blows. It's a racing incident. There's no one to blame there. But, it's been tough coming from the back, and really have just gotten sick of it.
Well, congratulations. Good ride tonight. And it's going to be a fun championship to watch you and Cameron and the boys close us out the next 4. It's going to be a fun fight. You guys have been putting on a good show. Jason Wygant, we'll go to you first.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Jason Wygant from RacerX. I'll go to Eli Tomac here. Can you just talk about this racetrack? It was amazing to see how many options you guys had, and it actually stayed that way from practice all the way into the main. What is that like as a rider to have that? Because I know you guys are usually looking for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it was – they had a good rhythm lane. Really, both of them after the start I thought were nice. That's where I made the pass on Justin in the heat race. I was able to go outside, right? Had a good slingshot there, going outside 3 and on, and the other line was inside double quad, if you want to call it that. And then the next lane was big 2 for us. We'd go 3 and then, clear both tabletops, that was nice. There was something different there tonight. The other lane wasn't so great. I felt like I was catching guys through that 90 and then I would kind of get stuck, but hey, having 2 out there where we could really make up time or do something different was nice.
Thanks.
Michael Antonovich.
Cool. Thanks, Daniel. This question is for Seth Hammaker. I think they showed it a little bit on the TV, but when we were on the floor, we could see your silencer had gotten some damage to it. what exactly happened, and then how did you have to adjust your riding through the rest of the moto? Because obviously any kind of performance impact like that's really going to impact you.
Yeah, for sure. So after the whoops come across the start straight and then that on off, I was making a pass on the inside and kind of slipped going up the face to the on, and I actually almost wrecked myself. And then I think it was Cody Shock was committed to the outside, and I think jumped into the back of me because I made the mistake. And then I felt it happen, and then I didn't know what exactly it was. And then I heard my bike just kind of get quiet and lost a little bit of power, but nothing crazy. And then just kind of had to shake that off and just kept doing my laps. And at least it wasn't too damaged to do any harm or anything like that. So, but yeah, it was unfortunate and sucks for Cody to go down like that. But racing incident.
Thank you.
Yep.
Seth, how's your hand?
It's all good. Yeah, it was a little last lap on practice, but it's all good.
No, I'm talking about against the pipe after the race.
Oh, yeah. It's fine. A little burnt, but we're good.
Don't lean up against the hot pipe, bro.
Nope.
Next one, David Iser.
Thanks, Daniel. This one's for Cameron Mcadoo. This obviously 2 points separating you guys in the championship at this point. Last race's penalty is going to loom large over this. Can you take us through what your thought process was at the time of rejoining there? Did you think you made a mistake right there? Do you agree with the AMA's penalty?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think I was. I mean, in the racing incident, like when you're in that moment, right? I got back going and to make it to that corner after the whoops, I felt like there was some guys standing there. I've already had an incident this year with running into a medic, so like that's not what I want to do. And I went across. Obviously I maybe could have cut less track off. And then when I rejoined the track, technically I rejoined the track in front of those other two guys, even though I did check up in the corner afterwards. When I rejoined the track, I was in front of those guys. So it didn't matter what I did in that form, whether I let them by me or not. So I thought I was doing the right thing by doing that. Obviously I wasn't trying to pin it across the track. Yes, I could have gone slower and, not accelerated as much. But yeah, it was tough to take those 3 points loss and even especially after being frustrated with myself on making the mistake that even put myself in that position. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like they explained the reasoning behind the 3 points that they were going to dock me, and you just got to take it and take it on the chin, and that was what we did and focused on tonight from Tuesday night on, and but yeah, that was kind of it was an unfortunate thing, and yeah, we won't let it happen again.
All right, thank you.
Steve Iverson.
Eli, that was you're sort of the official spokesperson for the 450 class and that main event. Talk about how intense that was, to have that, 4 guys that close together for that long, and how much are you playing offense and how much are you playing defense?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun race that way. It's always the bummer to be on the third place side, but we had just a good pace going, and unfortunately I was the first guy to make a mistake. I floated a little wide on the finish line and bumped the tough block. I still am shaking my head. I'm like, I didn't think I went that wide on it, but I ended up doing it. Then Justin got back by me, and at that part of the race I felt like I was just kind of settled in, just waiting, and that's what I was so bummed at. I'm like, I wasn't even really pushing the edge that way. So the track raced well. That was it. I mean, me and Justin went at it, probably 2 or 3 times. And then finally I got him when he made a mistake in the rhythm. So fun race. But yeah, just Coop and Ken were in front of the beginning, and that was it.
Thanks.
Nick, Moto Limited.
Yes, this will be for Eli. Eli, I feel like we talk about this every week, but how is your thoughts coming into this championship? Obviously, there's rounds running out. The points gap's getting away a little bit. What's your thoughts for the remaining rounds and what we're going to do in this gap to sort of minimize coming into Atlanta?
Yeah, but the points are getting really far out. You know, I look at Cooper like 41 points, like something's crazy got to happen at this point, right? So at this point, I'm looking at race wins. Atlanta, to me, it looks like we're having, 3 times Daytona again, if not bigger. So I think that's going to be really cool for us, different than probably anything we've ever seen, because I think there's going to be even more jumps in Daytona, but we still have that length of the track. So I think my riding style, the way my bike is set up, I think it's going to suit us very well. I think we'll have advantage there. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Awesome. Thanks, Eli. Cheers, Daniel.
Revista Moto.
Thank you, Daniel. Hey, Justin Cooper, can you talk a little bit about your expectations coming into the season with all the press talking about your likelihood of winning and being more on the podium and where you are now? Is that, and just how you reconcile that and how you address that mentally and sort of digest that before your races?
Yeah, I mean, I have my own goals coming into the season. Obviously, it didn't go to plan. I got hurt like 6 weeks before the first round, so that changed quite a bit, the mindset. But as I got back on the bike, it kind of I had some hope. I was still good, and I had the fitness, and I wasn't sure how I was gonna come back from the foot injury, but yeah, felt good right away. And yeah, as far as going now, it's kind of, I mean, you can't really listen to the media. You got to trust yourself and what you can do. And, I have my goal, and my goal is to, try and do my best every time out. And that's really what I've been doing. I've had a couple of races really go south and, had to minimize the points, but you got to move on from those, got to put those behind you, and you got to keep going. Keep doing the best you can do. So as far as the media and all that stuff goes, it doesn't really, phase me. It is what it is. But yeah, just here to, fulfill my goals, and that's really what I'm focused on, is myself and doing the best I can.
Great, thank you.
Dark Side.
Cameron, you're still on here, right? Yeah, there you are. So does the fact that Justin Cooper's been fastest qualifier every round, does that matter to you at all? Is there any motivation? Or is it really you only care about the main event and that's really it? I think it'd be a little frustrating. Like, you want one of those.
Yeah, it'd be good to get one. And honestly, in the past, I really struggled in qualifying, so it's been nice to throw some laps down. But yeah, I think I speak for a lot of us that we're all trying to chip away at that. It's kind of funny. I was telling my team today, I thought we had it this time, and sure enough, he threw that thing in there on the last lap. So we're close, and yeah, like you said, like it really only counts in the main event, but he's riding so well too. So it's obviously a big confidence thing going into the night. Being fastest qualifier, I imagine, and good gate pick and stuff like that. But yeah, he's definitely got speed, and we're doing our best to get up there and get that fastest qualifier. But I'm not gonna let him get them all.
All right, right on.
Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra from RacerX. Hey, Eli, you kind of talked about it a little bit with that race. Obviously, the last 2 races you've got on the podium, but you haven't gotten the win. Could you just go into a little bit of depth of what it's like you said, having the fun battles between you guys? Are you still having fun out there? Can you just kind of get into that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's come down the start. I mean, I don't know. Cooper's start average in the main event is just ridiculous. I don't understand it. I mean, he's there every time. I see him make a few of these mistakes in the heat race, but then he obviously fixes that problem, and he's just a machine in the main. So right now we've been so close that way. He's just getting track position on me, and that's it. Kenny's riding well. Justin's riding well. A lot of us are going fast, and it's like, man, it's and then like tonight, I even thought I was the best guy in the whoops, but you can't do anything with it because we get the rut down the middle, and you're kind of stuck behind the guys. So that stuff's frustrating, but that's what you get when you don't start in front of them.
Alex Gobert.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Alex Gobert, motoronline.com. This one's for Cameron Mcadoo. Can you sort of describe the feeling now to finish second, compared to the beginning of the season, now that you've won Daytona, you're in the title fight. So yeah, what's the sort of mentality like when you finish second now?
Yeah, I mean, it changes a lot and changes quickly, right? I expect to win and I want to win. We're really close in this points chase and every point counts, and that was, we gave a lot of them up on Tuesday, but I was actually just telling my mom that the same on the way out. 12 months ago, if I win my heat race and get a second on the night, I'm stoked. But so you got to continue to keep that and be, like enjoy it still, but also, that's not our goal, is to get second. Like, we need to get max points and win races. So once you win, I think it's just kind of that's really all you strive for. So it's a good night still, and I mean, we're only 2 points apart and we have 4 races left, so it's gonna be good racing the rest of the season. And I think we've had really good racing so far too. We've raced clean. It's been, I've enjoyed racing these guys, and we're all fighting hard for it, and we all want it bad.
Cool, thank you.
Dan Lamb.
Yeah, Justin, Darkside talked about it a little bit with Mcadoo. Every practice, every qualifying, every time you've hit the track, you've been the fastest qualifier. First of all, how cool is that? And secondly, did that, when you were off the podium, was that maddening to see you had that speed, or was that what kept your confidence going, was seeing you had that speed when you were off the podium?
Yeah, obviously now I got the speed, and the team was actually telling me, like, we don't, like, they reminded me, like, it doesn't matter, like, what points or the practice is paying. I mean, it's good. It's good for the confidence. But yeah, it's more just finding, you got to use those practices and, find what you're going to do throughout the night. And you just got to go over the tape with the team and figure out what's going to work for the night. And that's kind of what we did today. But yeah, it's definitely confidence boosting, and it's fun. I like practice. It's fun to lay down some heaters and, kind of test those boundaries every once in a while. It's kind of fun to, just be on that exit sometimes. So, it was a good day, and whatever happens with the practice, I'm not really following it too much, but seem to be getting a lot of like hype around it. But at the end of the day, just trying to, be my best in practice and get ready for the night show.
Yeah, watch out for that undefeated pressure. Coming later in the season.
All right.
Matt Williamson.
Hey folks, Matt Williamson, MXP Magazine out of Canada. Questions for Seth Hammaker. They were kind of talking about it a little bit, but you ended up not finishing, third fastest in qualifying, and kind of got really good results again today. The question though is, what's the focus for like consistency and such? Because it looks like you have it in you. You've got the speed. You are getting. You're not that far behind in the points chase. What's the goal for the year for you in that regard?
So speed's been pretty good, been qualifying good, and I'd say like from here on out, just want to be on the podium and just stay consistent for the rest of the season. I had a couple inconsistent races at Daytona and on Tuesday at Arlington too, but other than that, I've been pretty consistent, and just I feel like if I get on the box top fives and keep climbing up in the points a little bit, so just gonna show up every weekend and try our best and fall into place where we do.
Awesome, thank you.
Anthony Sansota.
Hey guys, Anthony Sansota, MotoOnline.com. This one will be for Cameron. Cameron, it seemed like you had the pace tonight to kind of run with Justin. You kept him honest there for most of the race. Do you feel confident going into the back half of this thing, and anything specific you're working on with this 2-week break?
Yeah, I do. I have pretty good confidence. That was it was good in the main. Like we were close for a long time, and we were kind of doing a little bit of yo-yo, and there was some areas where I feel like he was making up some time on me, and there was also a couple of parts of the track that I felt like I could make up some time. And then when we got to the back of the lappers, it actually kind of helped me at the beginning. The first couple lappers, I got back right on his wheel a little bit, and you know how they affect all of us differently. So he got kind of messed up with some lappers, but then I got messed up with a few pretty bad for a couple laps. I actually had a dude race me for like a whole half of a lap. Like he actually raced me through the whoops. We almost came together in the whoops. I'm like, what is this guy doing? You know, so can't blame lappers though. You know, it's going to happen. So you gotta race through those. But I had a couple bad laps, missed that rhythm after you go across the start straight. And I like doubled all the way through it. And then I cased the quad one lap. So that's kind of what got me off the back of his wheel. And, but yeah, I mean, it was good to run up there, and we just need to be a little bit more precise maybe when coming through the lappers. And so, yeah, we do have some stuff to work on though. And we're going to do our best to come out swinging in Atlanta.
Nice. Thanks, Daniel.
Brad Gephardt.
Thanks, Daniel. Brad Gebhardt, Big MX Radio. Eli Tomac, let's talk about the strength and the competition in the 450 class right now. Do you feel like some specific guys in that class have sort of stepped up this year, or is there anything specifically that's holding you back from being the Eli that we've seen in previous years?
I'm going to say it's a combination of two things. Yes, the competition has gotten a little bit, or the field has more depth to it, right? Where you're not shredding through the pack as easily. But I also think the tracks are, I don't know, somewhat easier to where you're not able to separate yourself as much. Tonight was pretty good. We've been stuck inside football stadiums the whole time, so they've been on the tighter side, and some of them have been somewhat basic. So we never got to go to a baseball stadium, any baseball stadiums this year. And I feel like sometimes I excel even more in that style of track, right? So that's what I think about all this. And like I'm looking forward to Atlanta. I guess that'll tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right for track condition and just different environments. So but yeah, there's more depth to the field too.
Is there anything on a specific track layout or an obstacle that you feel really helps you separate yourself from the pack?
Yeah, it's just having options that work. Say if you, like tonight, I was really fast after the whoops. I go across by the mechanics. I rail the outside 90 berm. I was catching Cooper there like crazy, and then I go into that rhythm, and there's nothing to connect the speed, right? Or to keep that going, and then I just fall back in line. And same with the whoop section, that we in the whoop section with a 90-degree turn to where you can't go up the inside of someone and finish it with a block pass. I mean, Cooper made the pass there, but he was in the main line route, right? So Kenny left that line open. So things like that are frustrating, but I guess that's Supercross, and that's just how it goes. But definitely situations that can make the racing better.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And now, Daniel, back to you.
Had a feeling that was coming. Jason Wygant.
Yeah, thanks. I'll go back to Eli in these tracks. The obvious thing that people worry about is when they see gnarly whoops or these big rhythms is, that's more dangerous and that could lead to more injuries. But when you're jumping those big things, or when you're going through the whoops that are pretty high speed tonight, does that actually seem sketchy to you, or is that actually okay?
Tonight they were okay. I wouldn't even say they were dangerous. We haven't had a really long set of whoops this year. We haven't had 2 sets of whoops this year. So that hasn't been in play, 2 sets of whoops, and they haven't been that big. They haven't been crazy spaced out. Yeah, there's been some jumper tracks, but I think back to like San Diego last year. I mean, those things were monsters. Not to say I liked them, but they haven't been anything out of the ordinary. If anything, they've been a little bit easier.
And when you get those big rhythms, I mean, you were doing a 5 in a way through one section. You were actually going faster, not doing the 5. But even when you do that 5, does that even seem that crazy, or is that actually pretty routine for you guys if it's available?
It's not too crazy when you have a tabletop landing, right? You can make the air and still ride it out. So in that that it wasn't too bad, right? Because or you could land up top if you were short, or go all the way over. But yeah, when you start doing the real quad with the real single landing in the turn, those are the gnarly ones.
Michael Antonovich.
Thanks, Daniel. This one is for Justin Cooper. Justin, that first rhythm lane had a really, really big jump combination that a handful of 250 guys were doing. You were the only guy to do it on the opening lap of the main event, and you knew, like, hey, this is going to be a big time advantage. How critical was getting the start, and was it a little sketchy to send it off of that first lip knowing that, 21 other riders were behind you?
No, not really. I got the whole shot in both the heat and the main, and I did that line in both the first laps. So yeah, I mean, I hit it every lap in, practice and stuff like that. So I had it down pretty good, and it was just like if I was, tripling a rhythm. So definitely didn't really think about it like that. Just was kind of like a place to, was just doing the normal fast line, and I had clean air to do that. So I think anyone else that got the whole shot would do the same thing. And it was definitely, a way to, I guess, get away from the pack pretty quick. So a jump was definitely really big, though. I remember hitting it in free practice, and I didn't really know what to do. I was like, I gotta triple out, so I must be having to quad this. And I remember coming up a little bit short the first time, and I was like, well, this thing's pretty massive. And it got easier throughout the night. I feel once it got worked in with like the track crew, like they fixed it up a little bit, and it seemed to, shoot you right as the night went on, I felt.
Thank you, guys.
David Iser.
Thanks, Daniel. Eli, I know it's frustrating being the defending champion, being out of the points championship at this point in the season with 5 races to go. What would you consider to be a success forward? Maybe sweeping Atlanta would be a nice way to put icing on the top of this cupcake.
Oh yeah, I mean, just looking at the track map, I'm stoked to go race in there. So that's like at this point, it's kind of Coop's championship to lose. I mean, 41 with 5 races to go is for me is dreaming, right? So he has to make a big mistake for me to even think about that situation. So yeah, just gunning for wins.
All right, thank you.
Steve Giberson.
For Justin Cooper, I'm curious, the first round in Orlando seemed like a fairly, I don't want to say easy because I know that none of them are easy, but easy race for you. Then Daytona, I think you were almost dead last off the start there. And talk about that race. Was that a panic situation? Was it just head down and charging? Talk about that one a little bit, because for the position you're in now, that was fairly massive to come back to almost podium position there.
Yeah, to be honest, that's been my last 3 races since I won to round 2, 3, 4. They've all felt like that. Daytona, I got hung up on the tough blocks in that S section, right in the first turn, and just kind of put my head down. I was like, is this like really happening? Like I really put myself in this situation to, have to come all the way through the pack. But it was a bummer, man. I felt good at Daytona. Speed was incredible there. And even in the main coming through the pack, my lap times were really good. So it was a bummer to, it was obviously good to come up to 4th, but I had like Pierce, Styles, and like, they were right in front of me. I basically watched them go over the line. So that was frustrating, but again, I've had to minimize the damage on all these nights, and it's definitely learned from it. It's not ideal and not what I want to do, but it's what you got to do. So tonight was a step in the right direction again, and it just felt good to, put those 3 races behind me and rebound like this and go into the break. But your question about Daytona, it was a panic in the beginning, and then I kind of settled in around, I would say, 5 minutes into the race, and was just clicking off my laps. So obviously couldn't take my lines. I had to go everywhere else where the other guys weren't. And it is a little bit hairy back there with all the guys. They're kind of switching. They don't know who's coming. They don't know that I'm behind them, and they're racing for their position, right? So it's definitely, you have to be smart with the guys you're coming through and just be as efficient as you can, I guess you could say.
Nice work tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nick, Moto Limited.
Yep. So this will be for Eli again. Eli, can you just take us through those couple laps with Justin Barsha? Obviously, with your slight error over the finish line, you had to go from racing to being defensive instantly. How does that affect going back to defensively to basically get your push to get back to the front?
Yeah, that stuff is a bummer because when we're messing around with each other, the front two are leaving us in the dust, right? I think I lost like 4 seconds on that lap, so that was a bummer to lead touch, or to lose the touch at the front of the race, and then that he passed me on the inside after the finish, and then I got him there the next lap, or maybe the lap after that, and then I covered the inside the next sweeper, and he darted back underneath me, so we were going back and forth, and then like I said, the worst thing about those situations is you're losing time to the guys in front, the lead of the race.
Thank you. Cheers, Daniel.
Nick, Revista Moto.
Thank you, Daniel. Hey, Cameron Mcadoo, can you talk a little bit about how you've been able to keep your nerves throughout this title championship series? You seem to be handling this championship really well. The nerves don't seem to come at all or have a factor at all into your riding.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this has been the first time that I've kind of been in a championship fight, and I really just gotta take it race by race and approach each race day the same as I would if I was, fifth in points. So if I can continue to do that and just bring my best version of myself every Saturday, that's the best I can do. So to be able to just accept that and just really focus on the plan of each session and each time I'm on the track and do what I need to do to be my best me. So that's kind of been the biggest thing for me, is to not really just completely think about all the the championship and having the red plate for a couple rounds and being in it. So that's obviously in the back of your mind, but I'm just doing my best to just do the best I can each time on the track and stick to the plan each night.
Thank you.
2 more questions. Let's go Dark Side and then Alex Gobert. Dark Side.
Yeah, all right, Eli, I hate to do this to you. You seem to be our track analyst tonight. A lot of talk lately about the tracks not being, like, the last couple tracks weren't great. Tonight's track was really, as a viewer, was awesome. I think Jason Thomas wrote something for Racer X, maybe we did today, about the track being great. But it's really the same obstacles in just a different order. What makes the track better for you guys? What makes it a better racetrack? And do you think that Feld or Dirtworks should talk to guys like yourself, vets, and get some thoughts on the tracks each week?
Yeah, I mean, there's good and bad tracks. We could talk about whoop sections. I think there needs to be 2 sets of whoops brought back into the game again. Whether it's one short one long one. We don't see dragon backs really anymore, and if we do, they're the mellowest thing ever, right? Where there's no consequence to missing or making that section. And long rhythm lanes always help. So a lot of times you get close to a guy and you can't finish a pass, right? Because the thing, is a shorter rhythm lane. So longer rhythm lanes, maybe another set of whoops. It's just, but it just, I don't know what they want. Maybe they want it easier to where it's tighter, right? So there's less separation. It's a little bit hard to say, but there's definitely ways to make the track better. Yes, you have to have some 90-degree corners, but for the most part, they're never good. You never see passing in them. I don't know. Maybe like we saw tonight, there was bigger rhythm lanes, more options. We need to have that second line be an option too. That's important.
Yeah, no more triples, maybe.
I mean, the triple's the triple, but like I said, like I felt like if the one after the mechanics had another rhythm lane option, that was the bummer rhythm lane tonight, is it was such follow the leader. I would get close to him, and then there was nowhere to take that speed.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Alex Gilbert, go ahead and give us the last one.
Yeah, thanks, Maya. Questions for Seth Hammaker. 5 races into your Supercross career, 2 podiums, obviously including a win. So how's the learning curve been for you so far across these first 5 rounds? And then, how would you kind of rate your performance so far?
Yeah, I've been learning like so much, just running up front with the top guys, and I think that's the best way for me to learn, is to get good starts and run with those guys. And I would say, being on the podium twice already with a win was super awesome, and just keep that going and just be on the podium. And if the win's there, go for it. And for these next few rounds, but pretty happy with my performances so far, and just want to stay consistent, keep up with my speed, and I feel like I'll be close at the end. And but yeah, pretty happy with it so far, and just gonna keep it going.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Congratulations again, Justin, Cameron, Seth. Great ride tonight, and Eli. Congratulations on another podium. Thanks for coming on tonight. And we'll try to get Ken Roxon and Cooper Webb on here early in the week. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in Atlanta.